What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's Fresh Build Friday. That's right, we got a brand new coil for you guys to try out today. Today, I'm proud to introduce, I'm finally going to show you how to do a fused Clapton. But I'm not doing it the typical way. I'm doing it with this little handy-dandy coil jig by Vaped 3D. Now, I must state my intent. I did receive this product for free for the purpose of this video, but my opinions on it will remain true, honest, and accurate as always. So let's get started here. I received this product from vaped3d.com with a big shout out going out to them. And to strictly do this video. So this is going to be part review and part build. So if you're here just for the build section, honestly, I will be doing a more in-depth look at how to wrap a fused Clapton coil and such in a later video. But you might want to stick around till the end of this one, just because I will be giving away this little beauty right here. So, with that being said, let's go down to the close-up view. Grab your wick, grab your wire, grab your mod, grab your addy, grab your drill, and let's get building. Alright guys, so we have this lovely little coil jig, Clapton Coil Jig by Vape 3D to show you guys today how it works. It's really kind of cool. It's pretty much one-handed. You really don't have to worry about your wire binding up or anything like that. So as you can see, I have my roll of 36 gauge already on here with the tension nuts already tightened down a little bit. The wire goes through this little tiny hole right here. Let's see if you guys can see that. There we go. So you can see the wire going through that little tiny hole right there, which feeds it directly down into the clamped part right here of the jig. And hopefully you guys can see the different size holes in that there. That's going to be for different size inner gauge wires. So you can use any gauge you want. Today I'm going to be using some 26 gauge inner wire. So let me just get some of that straightened out real quick, and then we'll start our fused Claptons. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're just going to get this little jig set up here. So you want to just take those two wires that you just straightened out, and you're going to just put them right through the clamp itself. So just basically open up the clamp, and you can just find a spot where those wires are going to pass through there nice and easy without getting hung up on anything. And that's where you're going to put them. For now, we're just going to lock them into the middle jig area. That's what I like to use for 26 gauge core wire, so that's what we're going to do today. So just have it locked into one of those little holes there, so it kind of is able to just kind of free spin there. Just make sure it's not binding up anywhere along the way. So the next thing you want to do is just secure those wires into place just by sliding them through the rear part of this little jig here. And this can get a little bit tricky because it's not a tube inside there, it's just kind of two holes on the edge of this hollow post. So it can be a little bit tricky getting it through there, but there you go. Just like that, got it done. And you want to position that jig right over the top of your clamp. Make sure it's right here. There we go. So you want to make sure that little end piece there is right over the top of the clamp. And we're just going to secure that into place, that small gauge 36 wire. We're just going to secure that around one of these leads here. And then we're going to put it inside the chuck of the drill, so just bring the drill in. And I do that so that it doesn't slip out. I know that those teeth on the chuck of the drill are going to grab onto each individual wire, and it's not going to fall out. And the last little step you have to do is get that small gauge wire in between the clamp setup here. Just make sure it's in a good little resting area. You want it resting about pretty much straight down. That's the best way that I've found to do it. And first you're going to start off a little bit slower, and then we're going to speed it up a little bit. So here we go. Nope, we want to make sure our drill's going the right way. Loosen up the tension a little bit. Just double checking that, and I think we're good to go. Yeah, see how it's spacing out a little bit? You want to try to get the direction down a little bit. So I'm trying to get it about 90 degrees. Right about there. That looks good. All right, now tighten up any slack. We'll get started again. And just like that, you have a one-handed fused Clapton coil. Now, I know what you're going to say. It's got a bunch of twists in it. What are you going to do? Well, all you have to do to fix that is just reinsert it here. Reverse the direction of the drill. Just grab one end of it with your pliers and just like that, you get pretty much all the little spaces out there, the twists out of it. So we're just going to cut off that little section that I screwed up on, and we're going to push on with this build here. So honestly, this is more of a review of the actual jig itself, not so much the like coil building part of it. So I'm pretty much just going to speed through this next section. So I'm just going to build some straight up 3mm coils using my coil jig, and I'll be back with you in just 1 second. Alright, so that was fun. Let's see how she performs here. So my final resistance was right around 0.2 ohms, and I'm vaping it at 92 watts right now. So I did 7 wraps around a 3mm bit for the record, and let's see how she chucks. I think I can even go a little bit higher than that. I'm going to go up to, let's go up to 110. There we go. That's more like it. Alright, so let's go back to the main screen, have a quick talk about this particular build, and then we'll go over some of the finer details of the Vaped 3D Clapton Coil Jig. Alright guys, so let's quickly go over some of the finer details of this build itself. I did do a 7 wrap around a 3mm bit fused Clapton coil using 26 and 36 gauge Nichrome 80 that I bought from lightningvapes.com. My first category being the heat. Right now I have it set to 110 watts at 4.59 volts. With the resistance bouncing around between 0.19 and 0.2 ohms. So with that, it is a bit of a warm one. If you don't like a warm build, then I would say you can turn this down to about 75 or 80 watts. I think that's going to be just right for you. But however, how I have it set up right now, it is a bit warm for my liking. Honestly, I might turn it down a little bit just to cool it off a little bit, because I'm not really one for the scorching hot vapes. However, the next category being the ramp up and ramp down time, it's almost instantaneous. I think personally the Fuse Clapton coil is the perfect coil. With that, I would say, because it has the characteristics of a traditional Clapton coil, yet the core wire is parallel 26 gauge, so that makes it ramp up a little bit faster. It has a slightly higher resistance, but that's a good thing, especially for a regulated device like this. However, you can also form it to fit on a mechanical device if you want to use larger gauge core wires, or parallel a wire in between the Fuse Clapton wire. That's all well and good. So the ramp up time is very quick, and the ramp down time, it doesn't have a lot of sizzle to it. Little bit of sizzle, but not too much. Honestly, that's an acceptable amount of sizzle in my opinion. I did try a little bit of a different wicking technique this time, sort of the Scottish roll technique, if you will. That's when you stretch out the pad of cotton before you roll it up, and I think that worked out pretty nice. I like to pack my cotton really, really tight in there, almost to the point when it's going to move my coil around. But it seems to be working pretty good. So moving on to my next category, which is the difficulty of this build. I gotta say, I hesitated building Fuse Claptons for the longest time because I felt like it was a little bit too difficult for me to do. But using this thing right here, it made it pretty easy. Yeah, there was a couple of hiccups along the way, but nothing I couldn't really handle. So with that, I'd say it's a pretty easy build using this little jig setup here. But if you're wrapping them by hand, or the traditional method using the fishing spinners, you might have a little bit more of a hard time. And my final category is the flavor. I know you guys all want to know about the flavor on this one. The flavor is spectacular. I'm using the Vapetasia lemonades that I had yesterday, and it is on point. I gotta tell you, using Nichrome and with a Fuse Clapton build, I love the flavor that I get, and really, I don't think there's anything better. So with that being said, let's move on to the review portion of this video. Now we're gonna take a look at the coil jig itself. Alright guys, so we talked about the build. Now let's go over the device that we've been using throughout this video, the Vape 3D Clapton Coil Jig. My first pro about this device is that it's so easy. Very easy to use. I can create about 2 feet of Clapton or Fuse Clapton wire in the time it takes most people to just set up their whole rig for fusing some Claptons. And honestly, I like convenience features because I always use a coil jig anyways, so why not use a wire jig to, to boot. So with that, I find that it's really easy to use and it's very convenient to have around at the shop. So my second pro is going to be the little tension meter right here, the little nuts that hold down the wire a little bit and make sure you don't get any slack in your wire. That prevents any gaps or anything like that. So yeah, those really do help. I've noticed that with certain gauge wires you need a little bit more tension, and especially with the smaller stuff you definitely need a little bit of tension on there, but not too much, so you can really finely tune that that tension down just how you want it, and it's great. So my third pro is going to be the price. I love that this thing is only, I think it's about 22 bucks online. Just go to the website. I have a link in the description for you if you want to check it out there. But I think it's around $22, which is very inexpensive, and for anyone that's having trouble fusing Clapton wire, definitely give this thing a shot. I think it's definitely worth that price. Now with that being said, I also do have a coupon code, so make sure you use the coupon code DailyVapeTV at checkout. That's going to get you free shipping, so you won't have to pay the extra $5 it takes for shipping. Now moving on to some cons. My first con is going to be the fact that the clamp itself I don't feel like is quite rugged enough. It just feels a little bit weak, and there's a lot of tension on the wire, as you saw in the close-up of the video. That clamp is going to go off a little bit, and I had to stop the drill a few times and kind of fix that wire, just because I've noticed that the clamp wasn't doing its job. So honestly, I wish they would have ruggedized this clamp a little bit, maybe get the next size up clamp, perhaps that would help. But that kind of brings me me to my next con is I feel like this thing is a little bit too short for most drills. I have this big honking DeWalt drill here. I know a few, the coil builders, they do use a lot smaller of a drill. However, I like the speed and power of this thing, so that's what I tend to use. But yeah, this thing is definitely not set up for the bigger drills. As you can kind of see in the video as well, the drill hangs a little bit higher off the table than the Clapton jig is tall. So I would like to see maybe a different version of this thing, or maybe the next version might have a little bit longer of legs and a little bit bigger of a clamp as well. I think that would solve a lot of problems that I've been having with this device. My third con is going to be the fact that these little blue adapters that you get on here, they're pretty annoying. I feel like they take away some of the tension on the clamp, and the fact that they just kind of fly all over the place gets a little bit annoying. I wish they would have just kind of 3D printed or something like that, just new little feet here, whatever you want to call them, for the clamp. Instead of just using these adapters. Honestly, I feel like that would save me a heck of a lot of hassle with this thing, and I would enjoy using it a lot more. Now, I can wrap a standard Clapton using just the little orange pieces, but I love doing fused Claptons. I've been dying to do some fused Claptons for you guys, and I really wanted to show off this little device doing fused Claptons, so I had to use these little feet. Now, they also don't have any sticky parts on the back, so I had to add some double-sided tape to make them stay on. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get it to work otherwise, just because I had to adjust it every 2 seconds, and that got annoying. And then the little feet kind of fell out, and it just got really, really annoying. I got very frustrated with it, so I had to kind of put it down for a minute, think, and put on some double-sided tape. So, but yeah, honestly, overall, if I did not receive this product for free for the purpose of this video, would I purchase it myself? And I'd say yes. I hope they make some improvements on the next version, and if they do, I will definitely be purchasing one if it stays around the $22 to $25 price range. I think it's worth it for anyone that's struggling with fused Clapton coils or even Clapton coils to own one of these things. So just definitely check out the website if you would like to pick one of these up for yourself. I'll have a link in the description, of course, along with the coupon code. So anyways, let's get to the giveaway. So I will be giving this thing away right here. What's in my hand, that's what you're going to get on next week's Fresh Build Friday video. All you got to do to enter is send me an email to dailyvapetv@gmail.com. That's my email. Just send along an email with the last 2 words that I say in every single video, and you will be entered to win. Just make sure the title of the email says something like Vaped 3D Clapton Coil Jig giveaway or something along those lines, just so I know to put it in the separate folder that I have set up for giveaways. So that's all you got to do is send me an email, and you'll be entered to win a 3D printed Vaped 3D rather Clapton Coil Jig for yourself. So anyways, guys, that about does it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to also leave a comment in the box below about what you thought of this video and the Vape 3D Coil Clapton Jig there, and the build itself. So check out the advocacy links. I have them down there for you. Make sure you're fighting for your right to vape. Also, don't forget to check out all of my different social medias. I have Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you're following me on there. Like my page on Facebook, and check out my Snapchat. So, with that being said, that about does it, guys. And as always, vape on!